Um, so it's in the boardroom when the CEO stops talking, and the air just suddenly leaves the room. Or, it's at the dinner party when a joke lands completely flat and everyone looks at one specific person to see if they're allowed to laugh.
Right.
It's in business. It's in your relationships, your social circles, and according to the stack of research we have today, it is even in the silence.
It is everywhere. And well, usually we try very hard to pretend it just isn't.
Yeah, we're talking, of course, about power.
The big one.
Right. And I have to say, just diving into today's source material, it gave me a bit of a chill, honestly.
I can imagine.
It feels like we're reading a manual that maybe we weren't supposed to see.
Okay.
So welcome to the deep dive. We are looking at the architecture of influence today, which is essentially a breakdown of Robert Greene's famous or maybe infamous work, The 48 Laws of Power.
It's definitely a polarizing text for a reason. And the reason it feels so unsettling and why I think this deep dive is so critical is because of the really uncomfortable truth the source material leads with right away.
Which is what exactly?
That the world is not a meritocracy.
Yeah.
We like to think society is built solely on fairness and merit and kindness. But the central thesis here, the red thread running through all these laws, is that power is a constant current running beneath literally every human interaction.
Wow.
Whether you acknowledge it or not, the game is being played.
Right, and I want to make sure we state our mission clearly for this deep dive.
Yes, absolutely.
We aren't here to teach you how to be some Machiavellian villain twirling a mustache, right?
No, definitely not.
We are just here to analyze the structure. Because if you don't understand how the building is designed, you're going to get lost in the hallways.
That's it, exactly. The goal is awareness. The source material outlines key principles that shapes influence and control. By analyzing them, we aren't endorsing them as a moral code or taking any sides.
We're just the messengers.
Right, we are simply recognizing them as a reality of human behavior. You can opt out of being manipulative, sure, but you cannot opt out of the fact that power dynamics exist around you.
Okay, so let's peel back the curtain. I want to start with something that I think hits close to home for anyone who has ever had a boss, a manager, or frankly, just an older sibling.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
This is section 1 of our notes, the dangers of intimacy. And specifically, law number 1.
Law 1, never outshine the master.
Which just sounds so completely counterintuitive to the ambitious person you know.
It really does.
You get a job, you want to prove you're smart, capable, maybe even smarter than the person running the show. We're taught to dazzle in interviews. But the source says, stop, don't do that. So why?
Because you are miscalculating the psychological cost of your brilliance. The text warns that if you make your superior feel insecure, you aren't actually impressing them. You are creating what they call a silent enemy.
A silent enemy, that is haunting. But let's break down the mechanism here. Is it just simple jealousy?
It's deeper than jealousy. It's about the stability of the hierarchy itself. The source material highlights that those in power have a desperate need to feel secure in their position. They need to believe they're the smartest person in the room.
Right.
So if you come in blazing with your own ideas, correcting their mistakes, or just showing off your extreme efficiency, you might think you're securing a promotion, but you're actually signaling that you are a threat to their ego.
So by being too good, you're essentially insulting them without even saying a word.
Exactly. And the reaction to that insult is rarely some immediate confrontation.
It's more subtle.
It's usually sabotage. They'll block your projects. They'll conveniently forget to invite you to important meetings. They will find a way to extinguish the light that is blinding them.
Okay, so if I'm a talented employee, what is the strategic play then? Do I just dumb myself down? Because that feels like a career killer too.
No, and the source is very specific about this distinction. The move isn't to hide your talent, it's to channel your talent into magnifying the master.
Oh, interesting.
You want to be the mirror that makes them look brighter.
Can you give us a practical example of what that actually sounds like in the real world?
Sure. Instead of going in and saying, hey, I came up with this great idea to save the company money, you say something like, I was looking at that framework you built last year and it gave me an idea on how to save money.
Ah, I see. You're attributing your brilliance to their inspiration.
You are managing the ego above you. You make them the source of the success. If you make the master shine, you become indispensable rather than dangerous.
That makes total sense.
You are no longer a usurper. You are a disciple. And disciples get promoted while usurpers get fired.
It's purely about optics and ego management.
It is the architecture of survival in a corporate environment.
Okay, let's pivot to the other side of intimacy. We talked about bosses, so now let's talk about friends. This was the part of the source material where I actually wrote the word ouch in the margins.
I don't blame you.
Law 2, never put too much trust in friends.
It's a very harsh lesson.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because we're taught that friendship is the ultimate bond right. Trust your friends with your life. Hire your friends, start a business with your college roommate. But the source material says, hold on a minute. That is a trap.
It warns that emotion clouds judgment. When you hire a friend, you are operating on affection, not logic. But the deeper insight here, and this is the part that really stings, is about the wound of charity.
The wound of charity, what does that mean?
Well, if you hire a friend, you are doing them a favor. You become the benefactor and they are the beneficiary.
Right.
That creates an immediate, unspoken imbalance in the relationship. The source explicitly states that this dynamic breeds resentment.
Wow.
The friend feels they have to prove they deserve the job, or worse, they feel entitled to it simply because they know you.
So instead of gratitude, you get this weird mix of entitlement and hidden resentment.
Often, yes. The source notes that friends are quick to feel envious because they initially see you as an equal. If you suddenly become their boss, you shatter that equality.
And the text actually suggests strangers are safer.
Much safer. And this is the fascinating contrast. Strangers often act more professionally than friends because the transaction is perfectly clear.
I pay you, and you do a job.
Exactly. There is no emotional baggage. A stranger has everything to prove and nothing to lose. A friend has an ego to protect.
Keep your friends for friendship, but work with the skilled.
That is the big takeaway. It's about lane management. Above you, don't trigger insecurity. Beside you, don't assume that affection equals loyalty in a professional setting.
That's a lot to process regarding relationships. But we really need to move to the second major theme from our stack. We've talked about people, now let's talk about information.
Or more accurately, the lack of it.
Exactly. This is section 2, the power of silence and mystery.
This brings us to laws 3 and 4. And honestly, this is where most modern professionals fail completely.
Let's start with law 4. Always say less than necessary. Now, as someone who literally talks for a living, this is physically painful for me to accept.
I'm sure it is.
And in the age of radical candor and corporate transparency, isn't this just bad advice?
It feels like bad advice because we are conditioned to constantly explain ourselves. We are social creatures. We desperately want to fill the silence.
Right, we hate awkward pauses.
But the source material is adamant. It says the more you speak, the more you reveal, and the more you reveal, the commoner you appear.
A commoner you appear. That's a really interesting phrase. Can you unpack that a bit?
Think about the person who talks constantly in a meeting. They are spilling everything, their anxieties, their half-baked ideas, their need for validation.
They lay all their cards on the table.
Yes, and they become predictable. And in the logic of power, predictability is weakness.
And the powerful person.
They sit back, they listen, they control the flow of information. The source talks about the oracle effect. When you speak less, your words naturally carry more weight. People have to lean in. They have to interpret what you mean.
And there's a tactical element to this too, right? The pregnant pause.
Oh, absolutely. Think about a negotiation. You state your price. The other person hesitates. If you are weak, you start talking. You say, oh, we can negotiate, I can come down.
And you've already lost.
You've lost completely.
But if you just stay silent,
you force them to fill the void. Humans hate silence. It creates social anxiety. If you can be the one comfortable in the silence, the other person will often babble.
right?
And in their babbling, they will reveal their true position, their weaknesses, or their walkaway number.
So silence creates curiosity, and curiosity creates authority.
Precisely. If I can't figure you out, I respect you more. You become a riddle.
Which leads perfectly into Law 3, conceal your intentions.
Yeah.
Because if I'm saying less, I'm naturally concealing what I'm up to. But this law seems to go a step further. It's not just about hiding, it's about misdirecting.
Right. This is the difference between simply being quiet and being highly strategic. The source says if people know your next move, they prepare against you. It's basic military strategy. If you tell the enemy where you're marching, they'll be waiting there with cannons.
But in an office, we're supposed to share our goals. We say, here's my quarterly roadmap.
You share the roadmap, but you don't necessarily share the destination or the deep strategy. If you announce, I am going for that promotion, you have just alerted every rival in the office to block you.
So what do you do instead?
You use a decoy. You feign interest in one project while you are actually working on another. You talk about one goal to distract from your true ambition. The source calls this hiding behind a screen of smoke.
I have to admit, that feels incredibly deceptive.
It is deceptive, but the argument is that honesty is a blunt instrument. If you are honest about everything, you are an open book. You are easy to read and therefore easy to destroy.
That's intense.
By concealing your intentions, you maintain control. You force others to react to you rather than you reacting to them.
This is so hard in the age of social media, though. I mean, the whole world encourages us to share our journeys right. Post your wins, post your struggles, live your truth out loud. And here comes the source material saying, no, shut it down, be a ghost.
It is in direct conflict with modern culture. But that's exactly why it's so effective. In a world of chronic oversharing, the person who holds back becomes magnetic.
Because it's rare.
Rarity creates value. If everyone else is posting their every passing thought online, the person who posts nothing becomes the one everyone wonders about.
I can practically see you, the listener, right now thinking,
Yeah.
okay, I need to be quiet. I need to be mysterious.
Yeah.
I need to be a ghost.
But wait.
Exactly. There's a massive paradox coming up in our notes.
Yeah.
Because our next section is all about being seen.
Yes, this is the tension in the architecture. Section 3, the public face. This covers laws 5 and 6.
Let's look at Law 5 first. So much depends on reputation.
The source defines reputation not just as what people think of you, but as an actual shield.
A shield, meaning it actively protects you.
It protects you from attack, and it projects power before you even enter the room. If you have a reputation for extreme competence, or for ruthlessness, or for absolute integrity, that reputation does the heavy lifting for you.
You don't have to shout to be heard.
Exactly, your reputation speaks first.
But the notes here emphasize how fragile that shield is. It says, once damaged, it is hard to repair.
That is the key warning. It takes years to build a solid reputation and about 5 minutes to destroy it. And the source is very aggressive here. You cannot be passive.
It says attack false narratives early.
Yes. In the modern world, if you don't define your own brand, someone else will gladly define it for you.
Right.
If a rumor starts that you are difficult to work with and you just stay silent thinking, oh, the truth will eventually come out, you are losing.
Because perception becomes reality.
Perception often matters more than truth. That is the harsh reality of the game. You have to guard that shield as if your life depends on it, because your professional life does depend on it.
Okay, so we're guarding our reputation. We are serious. But here comes the curveball. Law 6, court attention at all costs.
Invisibility is weakness.
Wait, hold on. We literally just spent 5 minutes talking about saying less and concealing intentions and being a mystery. Now we have to court attention at all costs.
I know it sounds crazy.
How do we reconcile being mysterious with being an attention seeker? Are we supposed to be a mime in a circus?
It does sound completely contradictory, but it's about the types of attention. You aren't getting attention by babbling your secrets. That's violating Law 4.
Okay.
You are getting attention by your presence. The source says, stand out, be bold, create a distinctive air.
So basically, don't be part of the wallpaper.
Exactly. If you are humble, quiet, and just keep your head down in the corner, you might think you're being a good worker. But in the architecture of influence, you are dead.
Wow, dead.
You are invisible, and you simply cannot influence people if no one notices you exist.
Attention is currency.
Attention is power. Think about the most powerful figures in history or business. They are never just there in the background. They have a style, a cadence, a visual signature. P.T. Barnum is a classic example, often cited in this context.
Right, the showman.
He understood that even bad attention is better than no attention.
Infamy is better than obscurity.
In terms of raw power, yes. If people are talking about you, even if they are fiercely debating you, you are relevant. If they have forgotten you, you have absolutely no leverage.
So the synthesis here is keep your mouth shut regarding Law 4, so you don't reveal your hand, but make your image loud regarding Law 6, so people know you're actually a player.
That is the perfect summary. It's a tightrope walk. You have to be visible enough to be relevant, but mysterious enough to be interesting.
And impressive, but not so impressive that you scare the boss, like we learned in Law 1.
Exactly. It is a very complex game.
It feels like playing 4D chess while everyone else is just playing checkers.
That is why they are called laws. They are forces that push and pull against each other. You have to know when to apply which specific force.
So let's zoom out for a second. We've gone through the dangers of trusting friends and outshining bosses. We've talked about the power of silence and the need for a decoy. We've talked about reputation and attention.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. And I imagine some of our listeners might be feeling a little, well, icky is the word that comes to mind.
Icky is a very common reaction to this material.
Yeah, it feels manipulative. It feels cold. Like, can't we just be ourselves? Can't we just do good work and be nice people? So what does a normal, well-meaning person actually do with this information?
This brings us to the conclusion of the source material, which actually addresses this head-on. The text teaches one uncomfortable truth. Power dynamics exist whether you accept them or not.
You can't opt out of the game just because you don't like the rules.
Precisely. You might decide to be completely transparent, trusting, and humble in your own life. That is your choice, and it's a noble one.
Right.
But you need to know that you are walking into an arena where others are actively concealing their intentions, courting attention, and managing perceptions.
So it's not about becoming a predator yourself.
Not at all. Understanding influence doesn't make you manipulative. It makes you aware. That is the core takeaway.
Awareness is protection.
Yes. If you know that curiosity creates authority, then when someone goes completely silent on you in a negotiation, you won't panic. You won't start bidding against yourself to fill the silence.
You'll recognize the tactic.
You'll think, law 4, and you'll hold your ground.
Or if a friend you hired starts acting strange, you won't be blindsided by the betrayal. You'll remember law 2 and understand the psychological wound you accidentally inflicted by being their boss.
Exactly. By understanding the mechanism, you ensure you aren't crushed by it. You don't have to use these tools to harm others, but you absolutely need to know how to recognize them when they are being used on you.
It's like learning martial arts for self-defense. You learn how to throw a punch, not so you can go around punching people in the grocery store, but so you know how to block one if someone takes a swing at you.
That is the perfect analogy. These laws are happening in every office, meeting, every family reunion, every social gathering. You can either close your eyes and hope for the best, or you can open them and navigate the terrain.
And navigating the terrain allows you to survive and ideally thrive without losing your soul in the process.
Correct. You protect your reputation. You maintain your boundaries. You keep your cards close to your vest. That isn't evil. It's prudent. It's what allows you to actually get things done in a very complicated world.
Well, this has certainly been a wake-up call. It changes the way you look at a quiet room, doesn't
It
it?
ranges everything. You really start seeing the strings.
As we wrap up this deep dive into the architecture of influence, I want to leave you, the listener, with a specific thought to mull over today. We talked a lot about how silence is power and how oversharing can be a major weakness.
Right, we did.
So here's a challenge based on the source material's warning about friends and silence. Think about the last time you overshared with a friend or a colleague. Maybe you vented about a boss, or revealed a secret ambition, or even just complained about a client.
Ask yourself, did you gain an ally in that moment, or did you just hand over your shield?
Right. Did you give them ammunition that could be used against you if the relationship ever shifts?
It's a provocative question to end on. It might make you completely rethink your next coffee break conversation.
Indeed. Stay aware out there. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Stay curious, stay sharp, and we'll catch you on the next one.